everyone, Selina here on this third episode of Selina Thomas, SCV HR Guru. I had an opportunity to speak to business owners, specifically in the area of organized sports. The latest mandate and executive order has us all now shuttered in again for another 3 weeks. The impact to organized sports and the business of organized sports is what's featured in this episode. What you'll hear is the passion from these parents, the commitment from the coaches, and the resilience from these athletes. As a parent of student athletes myself, it was so important to feature this story and, of course, highlight their voices in their own words. Hey everyone, Selina here, back with Darren Fitzgerald, one of the coaches here at I-5. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're one of the coaches here. You're a coach to my daughter, but to several kids in this community, and you also have student athletes. And so what has the impact been to you as a coach, as someone that does this for a living, and then of course as a parent?
For me, as a coach on that side of things, it's been rough. It's been tough to deal with, because your first care is about the kids and being safe and understanding what this is and how the spread of it can come so quickly. Unfortunately, though, it's just so hard to sit back and watch kids not be able to do the things they love to do. And in a controlled environment, I think it's wrong by shutting stuff down, shutting parks down. I don't get how we did that in the past. I know they haven't done that for a while, so we're still able to get out with our groups and do some work, which is important. Yeah, as long as we have masks on, stay our 6 to 8 feet away when we're active, just things like that. I think it's huge for these kids to be able to get out there. Financially, with giving lessons, we've had to really slow back. You know, we'll bring one kid in at a time instead of having groups. Yeah, so we if we hit with girls, we don't have any more than 6 girls in at a time, all masked, separating. Parents stay outside, they don't come inside. So we're trying to do everything we're supposed to do to keep an environment safe, but to still allow these kids to be able to be kids.
Right.
And that's the most difficult
physical
thing.
And emotional part has got to definitely be, you know, priority. We've been through a lot this year in this community as it was, and then I know that your son plays and there's this window in terms of recruitment. Can you talk a little bit about that and what that's been like?
Sure.
I've seen some posts about that.
Yeah, my son's a senior at Saugus High School. He was a starting quarterback last year. So this was going to be a key recruitment year for him going into his senior year. He's a totally different kid than he was a year ago. He played a year ago at 158 pounds. Now he's up to 200 pounds. He's been hitting the weights, been throwing a lot. Just a different animal, and not being able to have coaches come around. There's no one-on-one interaction between coach and a recruit anymore right now. They've postponed that till in April, I believe it is. So it's been a really tough ride for him. We're doing everything we can, throwing with his quarterback coach and getting out videos and just posting videos to coaches. He's on Instagram all the time, trying to connect with coaches and sending them videos. And so it's been rough on him mentally to stay engaged with school and everything and just being a part of it. And yeah, he just, every once in a while, he'll just have that moment where he's like, Dad, I don't have a senior year. My senior year is being taken from me. And I try to just push through it and tell him, you know what, the most important thing is we stay healthy. You're doing your work, you're getting your grades, your teachers are being helpful, but he just can't figure that part out of it about his love for the game of football and not being able to do it.
And sure, with this age, things are already kind of magnified at this age anyway, and so just, you know, staying on top of that. But you have, you know, 2 layers as a coach, as a parent,
right?
And of course, understanding those recruitment windows and, you know, being able to encourage them throughout. So as you look forward to kind of progressing with, you know, some semblance of a season and, you know, always kind of waiting on the latest executive order or mandate, are you focused on just with the kids that you are working with, you know, keeping not just their physical stamina up, but just their emotional? Because I'm sure as a parent, you have to extend that as a coach.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I try to reach out to him. I try to reach out to all the girls I work with and just tell them to be strong, control your controllables. Things you can control, you have to. Things you can't control, you just have to get through it. And also being a teacher, so I deal on Zoom meetings every day with my kids from the high school, and I'm always asking them if they need anything. I had 2 of our professional psychiatrists come in and do a meeting with my class just last week to talk about ways to cope, exercises to do if you're getting into a mood, breathing techniques, all that stuff they went over, which was helpful for my students. So seeing like those 3 sides of everything, a parent, coach, and a teacher, and just seeing what these kids are going through, I can't fathom it. I feel so bad for all of them. I mean, you go to school for 11 years to get that senior year, Oh, definitely. And they're not getting that. That's what's so difficult. So now it's like his quarterback coach he works with and the coaches he deals with, and Coach Bourne at Saugus has been incredible about being honest with the kids, not trying to hold things back from them, but just letting them understand, hey, these are the way it is. These are things that may happen or may not happen. Control what you can control. And that's what we try to tell him.
Well, I thank you for taking the time into working with these girls, even my own, and being that light in such tough times, and we will get through it, and I'm glad to be able to share your story and talk to your family. So thanks again.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hey everybody, Selina here. I am back now with a parent of an athlete here at I-5. What was your name?
Jesus Soriano.
And your daughter is an athlete here?
I'm sorry,
And
yes.
your daughter's an athlete here?
Yes, she is.
And what does she play?
She plays I-5 for 14U. She plays a pitcher and catcher and kind of
Oh, great. So
yeah.
how long has she been in soccer?
Since she was basically 4 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and how old is she now?
She is 13.
13. So
Yes.
she's been playing for 9 years.
Yes.
So certainly the impact of COVID and what it's done to her sport and her ability to travel and play and be engaged has been significant.
It's been pretty tough. I mean, she needs to get out there, just being at home all the time. It's kind of getting her being out there, being with other kids, being in sports, getting active is something that it's good for them because they are out there, staying active, healthy and everything, yeah. So.
And so as a parent, like obviously doing these practices one-on-one, socially distanced, has been helpful. But, I'm a softball mom too. I just want to see them play again.
Yes.
So tell me what that's been like for you as a parent. I see you have some other ones that are here with us today. And,
yes, it's been hard because you're so used to to kind of like a routine going out there watching them play. It's like the highlight for you because you're kids. You want to see them progress and see what they can do their athletic ability, as well as my little ones. I mean, they were playing, and when COVID hit, it just stopped, and it's just like the regular answer. When am I going to play again? Yeah. Plus school too. Yeah.
So you're
So
navigating
school and then
also the sport.
yeah.
So with that said, I know that I don't think there's an area that hasn't been affected for people. What would you want to say to lawmakers about what your family's going through because organized sports is just a message to them and what you're hoping for?
Well, I'm hoping for them to at least open up the parks where the kids could go out and play. I mean, we're all conscious of what's going on, but we're very careful of how they interact with each other. And the kids need it. They need to be out there and not be closed in all the time. Once if they're able to play, they get that fresh air at least and be out and about, get more interaction with other kids. Something that they really do need, especially now that the schools are closed. So at least something to get their energy out and about, and something that they get to learn. Yeah. So.
Well, I definitely thank you for taking the time to share your perspective as a parent, of course, that for your kids, and then hope for some relief soon,
Yes.
and for all of us to be able to kind of come out and enjoy. So thank you. And your
Thank you
family.
very much.
Hey everybody, Selina here, back again. I am talking to a student athlete and a mom about the impact to organized sports and, of course, the entire school year. I know we've continue to talk about, the mandates and the executive orders, but let's start with who you are, what your sport is, and a little bit about you.
I'm Darren Fitzgerald. I'm 17 years old, senior at Saugus High School, and I play football.
I'm Misty Fitzgerald, and I'm Colton's mom, and also the wife of Darren Fitzgerald, who happens to be a athletic director for LAUSD, as well as a travel softball coach and a dad of an athlete, student athlete.
Wow, yeah, and I talked to him a little bit earlier, and this isn't an area that isn't everybody is navigating this, but to have our organized sports impacted the way that it has been, I want to get a perspective from a student athlete who is losing his senior year. Are we confirmed with that?
We're sure? Stuck right now. We're honestly stuck. They're saying our season's getting pushed back further. The new thing that came out said that our practices are pushed back until January 1st now. So I don't get to see my pads or anything for another month, versus I should be in them, already out of them having a full season.
Yeah, they took away the preseason and postseason, so we're keeping our fingers crossed for at least the 5 league games up here at the Foothill League.
So part of why I reached out to you, Misty, was I saw your post specifically on, I think we had just another mandate that came out, and it was just a moment where you just wanted to express yourself. And I wanted to kind of capture that and have you expand a little bit more about your concerns about your student athlete and not just the physical health, but the mental health.
Yeah, it's really, the physical, the kids are still getting out there. They're still trying to do what they can on their own. Sure. So the one thing that worries me the most is the mental part of it. I feel that anywhere from the sports to theater to the band directors to the drum line to the ASB president, everybody has an identity in high school, and they thrive off of that identity. And unfortunately, I just really feel like it's been taken away from them. We tell our kids to enjoy high school. It's a once in a lifetime experience. And unfortunately, with his experiences in high school, freshman year was Route 91. His coach got shot, and some family members and friends were there. His sophomore year, he had a really good friend that passed away. His junior year, of course, was the Saugus shooting, and then the beginning of the COVID. And now his entire senior year is possibly
so
just
his whole
done.
High school career,
his whole
with tragedies, but you certainly, as an athlete, still continue to use that as a means to kind of, process and deal with what was going on. And now this year, with the organized sports being shut down, it's how are you feeling?
As of right now, it just sucks because I'm a senior. I was looking forward to it. Spent my whole life hearing about it, especially this football under the lights. Was lucky to play last year under the lights, and now only getting 1 year instead of the years that you should have gotten is the worst part. Also, just with the organized sports being taken down, just from last year to this year, I've completely changed as an athlete. So I want to be able to show coaches that there's more to me now than they've seen.
Right.
And
we all missed that kind of summer coming back and seeing everyone that first day of school, and that people got taller and and just those little details that we get to kind of mark as that milestone for our senior year. And so that being said, I know we've had to be creative. I know that as your dad as a coach and as a teacher has told me that he's had some professionals come in and speak to his class and make sure that they were processing things in a way that was, helpful and healthy. And so are you doing those things as well?
With our football program, our coach has done a great job on the way he's attacked it. He's been able to bring coaches from Northern California to just a high school head coach, but then also he's brought in JUCO coaches and just guys from all around that come and talk to us and just tell us like how they're attacking it. And like one way is the leadership part. Like how should the leaders of the seniors really attack that? So what we've been doing at Saugus has been really helpful. Also outside of Saugus, I've had coaches been helping me out a ton with just telling me what I control, take advantage of what I control, and don't rely on the stuff I can't. So
I like that perspective. And certainly, obviously, you being a senior, you're modeling things for underclassmen, how they're getting through, even though you might not be able to experience what they're ultimately going to get with their, high school careers. And
Yeah.
I think that's a testament to you and to your parents and what you've built for yourself. And so outside of the things that you can control, and of course, with the hope that there's going to be some semblance of a schedule, what are you looking forward to?
Honestly, the only thing I'm looking forward to at this point is being able to find a college I can call home, go play football for my 4 years there, get an education done, and push football as far as possible. Kind of getting to the point where it's high school's, right now, honestly, high school's over for me. That's not something that I'm really stressing about. I'm just there getting my schoolwork done, trying to get my best grades possible, and then be able to head out to college right after that graduation ceremony happens.
Sure. Looking towards the future, that's a great attitude. And so for you, Mom, I know you've had an athlete come through normal and be able to go off to college. And so your two kids have had two different experiences.
Yes,
Sports
night and day.
And certainly, she was very successful to get a scholarship and move forward. And so has that been helpful to, have her to bounce off of?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she does. She's pretty close with her brother, so she will call him and talk to him and, kind of remind him about her stressors that she had when she was going through all of this. The motivation of being an athlete is incredible. And when there's so many ups and downs, the ups and downs also reflect in their grades and how they attack schoolwork and things like that. So it's a constant reminder to tell them that they need to continue to do good in school, because ultimately that is what it is about. It is about your education. If you're going to go above high school and play your sports, then as at the collegiate level, it's about getting your education. But it's just hard. It's very difficult to watch these kids go through this. It's such an up and down. 1 minute we've got 5 games. Next minute, new restrictions. Are we gonna have a season? So it's just, again, the mental part of it and the up and down is what is so exhausting, and that is what I believe is being missed.
And I think that's part of why I'm doing this podcast, is focusing on allowing the voices of those that are directly impacted to be heard. And so here's your opportunity to kind of share that, in a way that allows people to hear from a real person.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a sports family, you guys are staples in this community in terms of, your husband is my daughter's coach, and, and just watching these kids all kind of work towards a goal, and then have that goal to be kind of set aside, not gone, but set aside in a different way. So what would you like to say to lawmakers that are making these decisions about kind of shutting things down, opening them up, shutting them down?
I understand that our population is a lot more than some of the other states out here, so that gives the ability to be able to mandate things differently. But my thing is, it can be done. There's got to be a way. I understand, the national football leagues and the baseball leagues and the basketball leagues, they're all doing it. And I understand they can do that because they have the money to do it. But these are our kids. These are the future. And right now, these kids I don't feel they really have a path. And they have hit kind of like a block wall, and that block wall needs to be torn down, and they need to continue with their goals. So, because they're our future. They are our future.
I hear you saying sharing their story, sharing what's happened to them, the losses that they've had.
Exactly.
And just finding a way to make a plan. I think in all of my travels, the lack of a plan has been the difficulty in accepting what we all have to do. And I think looking out today at the park, I see people being responsible. They're taking, the time to do that. So, I appreciate you both taking the time. I wish you the best of luck in what you're ready to do. And I love the attitude that you shared about what you can control. I think having other athletes hear that from you, and that you've learned that from other athletes, is so important to share. Being an athlete is more than the physical part. It's the mental game. So I'm really proud of you. I thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, Selina here. I'm back with Tony Moore. He is a
parent, coach, and of course, huge support to organized sports. We're here talking about the impact of COVID on organized sports in our community, of course, on the business aspect and as well as your own athletes. So just wanted to get a little perspective from you, because you've been well known in this community for coaching, and of course you are connected to those kids and your own. So tell me what your thoughts are on what's happened with organized sports in our community.
Well, it's obviously COVID is what it is. Everyone has their own ideas of the vastness of it and the seriousness of it, but we're all affected by it. The kids and the sports, to me, it's more serious than what I think most people believe, and I'll tell you why. Kids, what they get out of sports, out of organized athletics, the disciplines, the camaraderie, the interactions with what they get with their teammates, it's not something you're ever going to get out of a textbook. It's not something that you're going to be able to get out of a Zoom meeting. It's the interaction of people, of kids being together with other kids, and the things that they get out of that they're not getting now. You can never replace that, and you'll never get it back. Sure. It's lost time. It's tragic, really, when you go as deep as you can go with all of that and what it is that they're missing out on. I don't know the answers to it, but what's happening, I don't think is the right way to go about it.
Sure. And I know we've been in organized sports for years, and it has truly shaped our kids into who they're becoming. And so the impact to that identity, talk a little bit about that, how your kids are doing, what you're doing to help them cope, and of course, knowing that hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel, that there's going to be some sort of recovery. I mean, the first thing you'll do when you'll be able to get them back moving again.
Well, that's right. Is, as parents, when we put our parents hat on and we take that off, put our coaching hat on, and then we take that hat and just put our civilian, our fellow neighbors hat on. The only thing I try to explain to my kids is, they're old enough. They're sophomores in high school, so they're old enough to understand what's happening. So they can get a grasp on, there is an end, hopefully. There are things that can be done, hopefully, that we'll be able to get back to our sports, our athletic, our interaction with our friends' lives. It's the younger ones that I really worry about more than the ones that are in the middle, because they don't get it. And all they know is that they've just been shut down. They're locked in a house. They're doing everything that they do is on a computer screen or on a TV. And to me, I don't know if they will ever understand that. So that's, and to try to correct it later, I say correct it, maybe that's a bad term, sure. To try to explain it later, I don't think it's going to work.
Mm-hmm. And there's no making up for it. Like
there is none. No, it's time that's lost. You'll never, ever get it back.
So to your kids, what are their sports and how are they getting through right now?
Well, my youngest twins, he's a football player, she's a soccer player. They're doing what they can with their Zoom meetings. They're doing what they can with their workouts that they are allowed to have. But it's still not the same. You're not getting your competitive nature, I guess, for lack of better terms. You're not getting your disciplines, you're preparing for your next week's game, things like that. All the competition, it's
the engagement with the social.
Exactly.
Sure.
And it's gone. You just, and you can't replicate that. I don't care how hard you try. Mm-hmm. You can't replicate it on a Zoom screen.
Simulated, sure.
So
yeah. So when moving forward, when they're able to come back out and be competitive, I've talked to a few students that have said that they've lost their desire for the sports. I mean, are you experiencing that same frustrations? Are they still wanting to?
Not in my house, sure. Fortunately. My kids have been involved since they could walk. Mm-hmm. They've been involved in competitive sports.
Huge part of their identity.
Yes, absolutely. Sure. But the ones that I do worry about are the kids that, hey, Mom, Dad, I want to try football this year. I want to try soccer. I want to try volleyball. All these kids that wanted to try something this year that didn't get to, they probably won't now.
Mm-hmm. And so, as a coach, now I know that coaches play a huge role as a mentor. Have you talked to any of your kids? Have you reached out to them? How are the parents doing?
We've had some dialogue, some conversation. You know, I've been out here for a long time, so I know a lot of families and a lot of the kids that have played for me or against me, whatever. Yeah, and we do that. We ask how they're doing. You know, every kid that's ever played for me knows they can always check in. If they need to talk, if there's something that's on their mind that maybe they can't speak with their parents about. Yeah, we're pretty tight, so we all check on each other.
So I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about that, and I know that you've been very vocal about just seeing that some things are acceptable, and I think I saw your post a couple weeks ago about Best Buy was pretty packed, but yet you can't have a structured, organized event that people are being very conscientious and every kid I've talked to said, I'll do whatever I need to do if I have to wear a mask, if I have to.
Right.
And so that, obviously lends to the frustration of not having a kind of a consistent order of what we can and cannot do.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and that's what the struggle is with my kids. And with most of the families I talk to, there is no consistency. You know, how do you explain to your son that he can't play football while you're watching football on TV? So that means you're putting a price tag, because they got the money, they can do it, but we don't, so we can't. You know, how do you explain to your son that, one of his best friends moved to Texas earlier in the year? They just played a complete football season. So there's not a consistency level. You know, there's people much smarter than us that are making these decisions, so I don't fault them, but it's not being delivered in the right way that people can understand. Right? It's like you just said, you can go down here right now, everything's packed. You know, there's been 1,000 cars drive up and down the street since we've been here, but these kids can't get together.
And we have a big empty park. It's kind of remarkable. We're here this morning and this big beautiful park being empty, and obviously being outdoors is probably the safest thing with COVID and we're apart from each other. So I really want to thank you for taking the time to kind of share your sentiments verbally. And I know it's hard when people read it in a thread, but I think it's also important to share the voices of the parents, the coaches, and of course your students. So thank you again, Tony Moore. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Selina.
Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Thank you again to the families that shared their stories. Looking forward to our Christmas episode featuring Albright Painting, the owner, Josh Abramson, and the Paint It Forward event. So looking forward to sharing that story. In the meantime, hang in there and stay safe.